Hello everyone, it's me, Sir Chandarius, and I'm sort of doing another little different thing here. Since the Disney D&D guide was the first kind of big YouTube project I did, I kind of wanted to do a director's commentary type of thing, just to show like my thought process or little Easter eggs here and there on the video that you might have missed the first time. And since this was my big first project, I really just want to do this because I just thought it'd be neat to do. Okay, and here we are. A bit of a bit of um, I'm sorry, it's just kind of funny to me. A bit of trivia about this area I'm filming in. This is actually my friend's house, and he wasn't even there at the time. I was actually house sitting for him, and I noticed he had this really big egress window. So I thought to myself, wouldn't it be funny if I just fucking used his egress window at his house to fucking just film my shit with? So I went home, got all my stuff, like set all of this up, got my camera set up, and I just filmed this little segment out here. And to this day, when my friend saw this, he's like, "Wait a second, is that my egress window?" Oh god, that was a fun weekend. All right, let's start the video here. Of course, Old Man Fucks Murder Cavern. That's actually a reference towards some I forget what it was. I think it was a Tumblr post where it was a Skyrim guard telling you, "Oh, by the way, don't go to Old Man Fucks Murder Cavern," and then it's like quest updated, go to Old Man Fucks Murder Cavern. I didn't know what the fuck to call the dungeon that I was gonna be delving into, and I thought Old Man Fucks Murder Cavern just sounded nice. There I am in my bassinet, my hourglass gauntlets, and that old shitty chainmail. God, I just got rid of that recently. I have a arming jacket now. Arming mail. Then I have that old God, I got that shoulder that leather shoulder piece back in 2019. God, it seems like forever ago now. And that beautiful Lawrence hammer I got that from Look Sharp. God bless. Those guys are always cutting me deals because I'm a regular there. There's Patrick Stewart's.
20 minutes
And of course the SpongeBob bit. When I was doing this, I wanted to when I was making this video, I was like, what the fuck am I gonna have for these scene transitions here? I don't wanna just like have like it's smash cut to me crawling out of the dungeon because it just didn't look good. And then I thought of SpongeBob, and just like those transitions, I'm like, oh my god, that'd be fucking perfect. And I went through maybe 3 or 4 different kinds before I found the type I was comfortable with, the one that I liked how it looked. And honestly, I think they worked perfectly here. Stress damage, because you need it. Then we have the health bar, the armor bar, and all the status effects in the corners there. Yeah, poison. And then the other one is bleed. You know, it sounds like I'm hamming it up. It's actually really fucking hard to get out of that thing. Especially when you're in, like 20 pounds of chainmail.
I think I need some more party members.
You should add a Disney princess to your party.
Ah, yes, TTS.
What?
Check this shit out.
And then here was kind of... I'll be quiet for this. Oh, I always forget about that one.
Actually,
Ah, yes, Collector in the background, always haunting my dreams.
yeah.
Eventually.
find some of them.
So, a bit of trivia about this whole video. Originally, like, the first guide wasn't going to be about Disney princesses. The first guide was going to be what I would call the, how to be a Disney hero in D&D. But, I had lost a bet with a friend, so he said, oh, you're doing princesses first then. And it was sort of a meme for a while between us that, oh yeah, I'd make a Disney guide about being a Disney princess in D&D. And the problem is he told my work about it, and they all start pestering me about it. And then I'm like, okay, fine, I'll make the fucking video. And at the time, I was actually doing, it's funny because at the time, I was actually working on one of the Castle Super Beasts, like, Darkest Dungeon shit posts. I think it was Willie Looks Into the Darkest Dungeon. I was working on that one. And then I finally decided, okay, fine, I'll finally start working the Disney Princess thing. Then I had my live stream with Snow. We did the whole thing, and that's how it started. And that whole opening sequence there was basically me trying to figure out a good way to, like, get across just why you would want to play as a Disney princess. And I was like, okay, well, Mulan's an obvious, like, well, why the fuck wouldn't you want to play as Mulan? Then I was trying to think of, well, Merida's never missed a shot ever, and fucking Tiana has an alligator. So yeah, they're not as useless as you think, but they're actually pretty cool, believe it or not. I mean, we actually did a one shot with these characters that I did from the guide, and that one shot should be up in just a little bit. They'll have that one will be more of a commentary style thing as well, be more highlighted rather than having the whole VOD be up, but I'm excited for that one to be up too. Funny little thing about that bit, that was actually a blooper. The original intention of that scene was to let me see if I can find it here. Okay, if you see here, like, I'm already jumping in the scene, and like whoops, sorry. So if you look here, I'm already jumping in this scene because, like, there's more room off to the right that the camera doesn't get, and I am airborne at this point. So you see me fucking land here, and the thing is, my momentum kept me going, so the chair leaned forward and, like, pushed me out, and you can see right about here, I actually knock the back of my head into my desk, and that's actually what the noise is, that clank you hear. That's me hitting my head on the back of the desk. So I ate shit here pretty hard, but the funniest part about it is that I was just meant to land in the chair, and it just wasn't working, so I just decided, you know what, I'll just do the turnaround. But this was so funny that I just decided to keep it in.
Okay. Today,
Whoops.
let's go find some of them.
Right there.
Today's gonna be a bit of a different type of video. Motherfucker.
There was, in fact, a spider over there.
Ruining my shoot. So, context. I've basically wanted to make this list, or let's say sort of a guide, on how to play a certain Disney characters in D&D. And I've wanted to make a video on this subject for a long time. This, however, is not that video. I am instead making a video on how to play a certain Disney princesses in D&D.
I'm dead inside.
But
a bit of trivia about this scene too. This is actually 3 separate takes, like, all cut together. So basically, one of them was me, like, every time I'd start a sentence, I would look at the camera and start spinning around. One of them, I was laying back in the chair the whole time. One of the takes that I did is I didn't actually use any of it because it was kind of bad. It was me just basically teleporting around the room. Like, I'd be over there, I'd be on the other side of the room, I'd be on the computer, I'd be upstairs. But when I was making it, it's just like, this is just too much. Like, I liked how it looked. It seemed really funny, but it didn't make a lot of sense for, like, you know, me trying to set up what was going on. But I do still appreciate, that's not the right word. I still do like how this turned out.
honestly, we don't stop in the face of adversity on this channel. No, Sir Chandarius doesn't stop when he really should sometimes.
I really do need to work on that.
Here we already made the video. This is kind of how it happens. So, late one night, Snow and I, a fellow DM on my Discord server, sat down and we basically put it all into writing. You heard right. The entire evening spent away on this. Making Disney princesses into D&D characters. What the fuck am I doing with my life?
Halt! If you enjoy what I'm doing...
Oh, right,
like,
this.
comment, subscribe, all that
This is
good
actually
stuff.
Mayfly
I'm
by
sure
Avery
fun.
Blue, and very, very big props to
Little bit
Avery
of,
Blue for letting me
previous
use his
technology
music
we
and
need
stuff.
for
Like,
these
the
characters.
guy is so
Basically,
fucking
you
talented,
still roll their
and I
attacks,
am very,
no
very, very,
equipment,
very
money
grateful
as you
for
would
his,
any other characters. These are
well,
sort of just
him
guides
allowing me
on
to use his
how these
music.
characters and what comes in their kits. If the DM has to make any changes to the characters, then please be as courteous as possible, because some of these princesses are really broken.
I wanted to establish, like, the idea that, like, these princesses, like, you can use them as is, but you should really, like, run things by your GM first. Like, it is fun to do these crazy builds, but, like, I'm starting to think that these, like, after doing a one-shot with them, like, these are actually, like, full-on characters. Like, believe it or not, like, these can be fit into almost any campaign if you actually take... Like, if you take out the fact that they're princess, these are actually really fun characters just to play as.
Yes, sir. We own dead-skinned Barbie. We own old sharp-toothed succubus Bint. We also own toothless gape-mouthed...
Of course, Cat Icarus.
Alright.
So, context for basically my setup process for the video. The main idea was that every princess would have an opening gag. Every princess would have a screen that would tell about their abilities, their stats, and me just sort of ramble on about the princess or shitpost about the princess as is. And Snow White's gag was the hardest fucking thing for me to figure out because she was one of the last princesses I did, oddly enough. It was the first one in the lineup, though. But I was watching not AVGN, I was actually watching Cat Icarus, obviously, but it wasn't that episode of Cat Icarus. It was actually the medieval episode. And what made me realize that using Cat Icarus as like opening for the Phoenix Games Snow White thing would be a good idea is when Cat Icarus used one of AVGN's jokes for medieval, and I'm like, wouldn't it be hilarious if I just put another layer on top of that? So it's like I just decided to use that one joke from Cat Icarus's Phoenix Game episode. And it's a really good joke, honestly. Like, a good way to kick this off.
Let's talk about Snow White. Snow White was honestly very easy to figure out. She's a druid. Oh, that was easy. Let's back it up, folks. Okay, there's a little bit more to it than that from what Snow and I have seen while we were watching Snow White. Snow White has some...
I say while we were watching Snow White because we did watch a few of these movies together. Well, we skimmed a lot of them. Like, you know, we kind of just, like... hit over the major scenes and like try to find proof for all these things. And looking back on it, like we did Snow White dirty, honestly. Like our reasoning behind the strength and intelligence thing, because I know that's that was one of the complaints I got from the guys in the Discord server, is why the hell Snow White's like strength and intelligence so low. And I'm like, well, she's 14 years old and like she fell for the fucking poison apple thing, honestly.
Garbage modifiers, I mean, what the fuck? But some interesting abilities to try and balance them out. With a measly 2 strength, 17 dexterity, 14 constitution, 8 intelligence, and 12...
We'll skip the stats.
But once you realize that Snow White is 14 years old...
She is actually
stats
14.
are
Threw me
fairly
through a
impressive.
fucking loop
Some of
when I
her
went on the
abilities,
wiki.
However, are a little underwhelming. With her strongest abilities being athletics, wild speak, and her infectious friendship, and her weaker ones being water-resistant clothing, proficiency in singing, and cooking.
Fun little blooper, some background trivia here. When I was reading this off for the script, I had actually mispronounced weather resistant. So when I fucking had the audio off the script, I just typed it in the editor as water resistant because that's what the audio said. And I was looking at the script a couple days later, and I'm like, oh shit, that says weather resistant. Oh god, like this is why you double read and double check your audio, folks.
Playing as Snow White in a campaign would be very difficult. She's really meant to be played as support. With no weapon proficiencies, Snow White is very vulnerable, but her high charisma and dexterity will allow for some very interesting and funny moments overall. I give Snow White a C-. With her lack of combat abilities
Such a
and reliance
low
on other team
score,
members,
honestly.
it'd be difficult for someone playing as Snow White to shine in a dungeon or a boss fight. But no.
I want to actually push for lower score, but I don't think like any princess deserved a low. Oh yes, of course. 24-hour Cinderella. I wonder how many people got this joke. I'm not sorry.
Snow and I argued for about 1 hour that Cinderella's actually a warlock, and he still stands by it.
I tried to
Snow. From what
I tried to find like backgrounds that fit every princess. Cinderella was a hard one because I'm like, what the fuck would her background be? Because the thing is, originally I was just gonna have like clips from the movie playing, and then I realized that's like a straight shot to just fucking copyright strike hell. And as I was thinking about it, I'm like, oh, of course, ballroom dancing, no duh. And these little scenes where we get a picture of the princess with the class icon, like these were really fun to do, like going into 3D paint and just like layering them over and finding like fun ways to like put the like class icons like over the princesses. Like I could feel like I could have done this one better, but there just weren't that many good like it's weird because like you go on there and you search up like a Disney princess and a lot of their frames just look off. Like, I remember I was looking for a good picture of Snow White for probably maybe 20 minutes before I found one that I kind of liked.
we could agree on, we ended up on Fey Cleric, and a built one too. Considering what Cinderella's been put through in her teenage
Cinderella
years,
is
her stats
built.
are amazing. Just look at this. 16 strength, 18 dexterity, 17 constitution, 18 wisdom, and another solid natural 20 for charisma. Now, these stats are a bit hard to believe, but considering Cinderella was tasked with the daily upkeep of an entire chateau, she would have to be, considering the average chateau.
Oh, here it comes. Here it comes.
20 people to run the home properly.
Sorry, what? What is this?
Before we go any further, I just want to say I did this all in one take, and I went crazy with it. I saw it coming up when I was reading off the script, and I thought, okay, I'll stop and do a separate segment. But I just sort of had the momentum going, so I'm like, fuck it, I'll just do it all in one shot. Let's just do it right here, right now. I'll just go for it. And I did another one just for safety, but it didn't sound as good as the first one, honestly, because like you get sort of that real like anger here, and I will admit I got actually like a little crazy angry here. Oh god. But yeah, like, so when you see this, remember I did this all in one take, and this was the first take.
2 maids per floor, 1 cook with 2 helpers, 1 butler, 2 housemen, and at least that many for outside, gardeners, drivers, livestock handlers, and since most castles were 2-story, which means 4 maids, so in total maybe 20 people, but Tremaine's house is 3 stories, 4 if you include the attic, and let's not forget the big fuck-off tower that's also on the property. That's actually 25 to 27 people to run Lady Tremaine's chateau. It's a wonder Cinderella's even alive right now! And can we talk about how Cinderella infiltrated a castle in the 3rd movie? Yes! There are 3 movies!
When I was doing research on all these princesses, just like if I could find like background stuff to prove they like the stats they have, and I found out there was 3 Cinderella movies, I pretty much just lost my shit. So like I tried to recapture like my shock when I figured out there were 2 other Cinderella movies I didn't even know existed. And I didn't really have to emulate it that hard because I was already in such a state doing that. So like a lot of that's just such a real like reaction from me.
She's actually really good at lying, believe it or not.
That was this is all the same take, I would like to say.
Cinderella possesses Wild Speak, Athletics, Deception Bonus, and an Archfey Guardian. Cinderella can likely send you to God with her stats alone and dub the whole campaign if the DM isn't looking at her abilities closely enough.
Little casual geographic reference right there for you.
A good class and enough stopping power, Cinderella would make an excellent addition to any party.
Oh, Aurora. Oh my god.
Okay, I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you guys.
Arms
We
in the
had
air,
no
explosions.
idea what the hell to do with Aurora. Honestly, because she did nothing during the movie. She gets cursed as a baby, falls in love, cries, gets cursed, and then just sort of wakes up. Like, what do you do with that? Well, here's her stats in class anyways. We went with
My god. I don't know why I always forget this image. So originally, the image for Aurora was gonna be her hanging out with all those birds and that owl in the forest. But then I saw this one and I literally couldn't help myself. And it's so fucking funny to me. Like, honestly, like, Aurora is one of, like, the weakest characters. And in the one shot that we do have coming up soon, that will be up, like, more than likely on Wednesday. Shout out to what day of the week it is right now. But, like, Snow, the DM that helped me make this video, actually chose Aurora and actually showed off that she's not entirely useless. So I might actually bump up like Aurora's like I was thinking about bumping up Aurora's, like making amendments to the video, but then I realized like Snow is a master DM and a master character crafter, so he could probably make any of these princesses useful.
Base Sorcerer. Yeah, we really did not have much to work with here. 8 Strength, 13 Dexterity, 10 Constitution, 10 Intelligence, 8 Wisdom, 18 Charisma. With Wild Speak, Enchanted Song, advantage on Charisma checks, and access to a King's Treasury. What the hell are you thinking with this one? God damn. Aurora gets a C+, with very little to bring to a team, but money and easy Charisma checks. She's not really good for long-running adventures, but a good set for a noble build.
I just realized I haven't talked about this yet. Like every single princess besides Pocahontas, of course, they all have their own like unique like backing track, and I thought I thought about maybe 3 different ones, but I thought I should really lean into how drastically bad Aurora is as a character, so I chose the Devil Show music from Monster Hunter World, and like I just thought like the image of a burning parade float was the perfect like just like rendition. Like, look at Aurora, look at how terrible her character is.
Honestly,
Ariel, ironically enough, this was the first one I edited, so because I did them all in alphabetical order and just me making them, except for Rye, of course. I did Rye at the end because oddly enough, as I was making this fucking video, like one of my friends told me, like, so what's Raya's page look like? I'm like, Raya's not a princess. Go to the wiki and it's like, of course she is. And I'm like, great, I have to add another fucking princess to the list. Like, this video would have gotten out earlier, like probably like a week earlier, if I had actually not had to do Raya's part, because I did take a week off and like at one point, like just to because I was halfway done with this video and I took a week off of just like working on this video to do other things. And but yeah, like Ariel was the first princess that I edited down, so like I have a lot of momentum here, and I like that, like, you can hear it in my voice. I am excited. Like, this was me getting into my groove with these videos.
before we start this one, I have to say, Ariel is Snow's favorite. And so I had to rein him in a lot. I mean a lot. Like,
I said I had to rein him in. It's more like I had to like keep him from fighting for Ariel being an S tier, because like he refused to like believe that Ariel was nothing but S tier, like, cause a couple of my friends were like, does Snow like have? And I'm like, no. He's just like really adamant in his opinions. Like, he wanted Ariel to be an S tier. He wanted Cinderella like to be a warlock, and it's like I had to like rein him in at those points, because it's like, you know, it's like it's obvious that we need to like agree on this, and it's just like Ariel's just not S-class material. She's a good character, don't get me wrong. Like, Snow's brother actually plays Ariel in the one shot, but at the same time, I'm like, this is just not an S-class character.
like, oh my god, he has way too much adoration for this princess. But, all in all, we came to a great consensus. Ariel is a bard, and a damn good one too. For the most part, Ariel fills the role perfectly, despite being, well,
A fish.
But When you look at her abilities and stats, she can really back up the whole party at the drop of a hat. With Song, Lucky, and a sea creature pet, I suggest the shark dog. Or maybe the whale whore.
Of course, the whale horse. So, backstory behind this. When I was writing the script for Ariel's part, I wrote this joke in before I had this image. So when I was editing this, I'm like, fuck. There's not gonna be a fucking image of a whale horse. And literally the first image I typed in Google was this image. And I just thought that it was too fucking perfect. Like, it's not exactly what I thought of when I thought of whale horse, but then again, I have no idea what the fuck I thought of, but it's just too perfect.
She has a really fun kit, and with 17 strength, 20 dexterity, 20 constitution, 16 wisdom, 7 intelligence, ouch, and 20 charisma, she really shines in the field, but her intelligence stat really holds her back. I mean, goddamn, Ariel is stupid. How stupid do you have to be to forget how to write in the sand?
This is actually, I wouldn't say a reference, but it's a tribute to my dad, kind of, because my dad was the one that drew this to my attention, where I told him about this video, and he actually asked me, "Are you going to talk about how stupid Ariel is because she can't write in the sand?" I'm like, "What?" And he says, in the movie, in The Little Mermaid, like, Ariel writes her name on Ursula's contract, but she doesn't write her name in the sand, or, like, write in the sand, or use anything to talk to Eric with through writing. And it fucking blew my mind at that moment, because I'm like, oh my god, you're fucking right, Ariel's stupid.
I mean, fuck. I give her an A-. Solid choice with a lot of support options, but man, her intelligence sucks.
It really does. Oh, Belle. Okay, so behind the scenes here, that's a Sword of Luck with a decanter of endless water and an orb of dragon kind all duct taped together. And, like, I was trying to get across, like, what kind of, like, artificer Ariel would be, because then she would be more magic inclined. But I just thought, what would be the three, like, most intricately combined things yet most useless item you could make as an artificer? And I thought, wouldn't it just be funny if you just duct tape a bunch of shit together, because Ariel's not really that good as an artificer to begin with. Oh god, I was laughing in the editor. Like, I was this has become almost an emote on our Discord server. It's that fucking stupid.
Belle is an artificer? Okay, not really, but I mean, okay, look, it's complicated.
It is complicated.
Okay, look. If you put Belle, like, in front of a Minecraft workbench,
the workbench argument.
Devices or machinery that her father made? I sincerely doubt it.
The workbench argument is actually something I alluded to when we were actually making Belle's character. So basically, something I used to argue with it is that, like, if you put, like I said, if you put Belle in front of a workbench, is she gonna be able to make any shit? It's like she's not Rocket Raccoon. She's some fucking like I forget the century, but she's a French countryside peasant. You know what I mean? And her father, like, makes, like, crazy mechanical shit. Like, she uses some of his inventions in the fucking movie, but I doubt she could create them by scratch. You know what I mean? But that's why I said artificer sorcerer. We really cheated with Belle.
Now, can she operate it? Yes, of course. Belle's incredibly smart. And she's lived with her father for years, so I bet you anything she knows a lot about machinery. But making it is an entirely different story, and I've never really seen anything from Belle that would say otherwise. So we kind of just went down the middle of the road. Multi-class artificer sorcerer. Yeah, we kind of cheated with this one, but what else could we do? Alright, let's look at those stats. 8 strength, 17 dexterity, 10 constitution, 20 wisdom, 20 intelligence.
Funny little bit about that, you can tell that there's a difference in mic quality. I actually had to re-record that section 2 times because as I was editing that night, we literally suffered 2 blackouts in a row, and I had lost that like audio. Just it was just gone. So I had to do my damnedest to fucking like re-record that audio. And you can fucking hear like when I say let's look at those stats, like I'm just tired as fuck. Like it was late at night, it was the second blackout, and I was so tempted to go to bed, but I'm like, nah, I'm gonna finish this fucking segment, like whether I want to or not.
And 13 charisma. And that's not all you get. Max world knowledge, advantage on first aid, hermit background, and a beast of a husband.
I could have sold that joke way more way more better. More better. I'm just upset with how like that's not even my joke. That was one of Snow's jokes, and it's just I'm sort of upset by how little I sold it. Like I could have really hammed that up.
I give Belle a B+. With good stats and nice abilities, she's a great pick, but sadly lacks many good combat abilities.
Oh my god, of course!
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
Okay, so when I was doing Jasmine's part, I'm like, what should our opening gag be? And I was thinking and thinking and thinking, and I'm like, maybe I'll just do something with Will Smith as Genie. And then I'm like, wait a second. And I remember that thing from that fucking shitty ass YouTube Rewind. And I'm like, wouldn't it be fucking hilarious if he was looking at Onkazone? So I just fucking, I made that little like edit there. And I just fucking, I just put it together, honestly. It was really funny to do.
Jasmine brings the heat as a ranger and keeps the momentum going with her style. Oh no. Oh, those aren't good stats.
To be fair, they're not the worst stats in the world, but they're like the worst numbers comparatively, like next to all the other princesses combined. Like I think Snow White and Jasmine have like the worst set of stats like in the entire line.
Okay, her stats are trash, and she only excels at dexterity and charisma. The only reason we say that is because she was able to keep up with Aladdin, who probably has one of the highest dex stats in the entire character line.
When I do the When I do the Disney hero list, I'm actually kind of worried because a lot of the Disney heroes are gonna just have like 20s all over the place, and I'm actually gonna have like a little bit of a contest. There's gonna be a hidden like Disney hero that I'm actually gonna make a D&D character list for, or sorry, character sheet for, and there's gonna be a lot of guesses for like basically it's gonna be set up like, you know, you have to guess which character it is. I've been thinking about doing like something like that, but I'm not sure how to go about doing it yet. Like I have ideas that are way above my station. I have a lowly YouTube channel with only 300 subscribers, but it's 300 more than I had last year, so I'm very, very thankful for where I am right now. Maybe I need to give it a little bit more time, but you know, I'm excited to do bigger and better things.
Well, besides Peter Pan, of course. But at the end of the day, with a tiger companion, stealth, athletics, smugness. What the smugness?
Another one of Snow's jokes that I had no idea what the fuck to do, so I just thought, hat in time, kid.
And advantage on deception checks. She still poses a great help to the team. Jasmine gets...
We really should just given, like, here's the thing. We gave both Mulan and Jasmine, like, advantage on deception checks. We really should just give them disguise kits, honestly. Like... Looking back on it, like giving them like advantage on deception, it's like it makes kind of sense, but really all they should have had were just like disguise kits.
It's a B- for effort, but not by much. With a lot of benefits and drawbacks, her abilities make up for her stats that suck.
Oh god, the weakest opening gag of all of them in my opinion. I was not at all happy with how Pocahontas turned out. Because despite there being, like, stuff there to do, there just wasn't really much to, like, talk about, really, or a lot of jokes to make. Honestly, like even I couldn't even find, like, a decent music set for her because, it just didn't feel right. You know what I mean? Like... I don't know. I just couldn't find anything that worked. Looking back on it, would I have actually like tried a little bit harder? Maybe I would have, but this was just one that I was just suffering through, honestly. Like I got through Tiana's segment faster than Pocahontas' segment, and I was just hung up on Pocahontas for probably maybe a day, and then I just put it away, came back to it the next day, and I was still stuck on it. And Pocahontas was kind of the part that just made me say I need to just take a break. I need to walk away from this project for a bit.
Native of the group is actually very painfully obvious. She's a druid of the Circle of Life variety. Wow, so original. But where
you
she
can hear it
lacks
in my
originality,
voice.
she
Oh my
makes up for that
god.
in these busted stats. I mean, what the hell, man? You see this shit? 14 strength, 20 dexterity, 20 constitution, 20 wisdom, 17 intelligence, and 13 charisma.
So, funny thing about this, you'll notice that instead of going from constitution to intelligence to wisdom, I go to constitution to wisdom and intelligence and then charisma. That's because in the script it's written like that, but when I made the overlay, I had fucked up and I got them mixed up, and I had noticed like before, like I noticed it kind of early on, but rather than like fix it, I just sort of left it in because I was curious if people would notice. And a lot of them didn't, honestly. Like no one's actually commented it or like shouted at me about it. It's actually really funny. Something people have shouted at me about though on my Discord server was what's coming up here.
Yeah, Pocahontas is jacked to say the least. With wild speak, plant
foraging is misspelled. I didn't even fucking realize that it was misspelled. It's actually spelled as it is foraging, like you're foraging a weapon, but it's meant to be foraging, like you're foraging around for stuff.
commune, loop bonuses for foragings, the tongues ability, and a high bonus to initiative and speed. She is set for pretty much anything. And I would give her an A+. With big stats and really good abilities, she could fit into any adventure with ease. I'd keep her in the mid-fight, honestly.
Another really weak like opening gag, honestly. Like I wanted to use like I don't know. The original idea for that gag was I wanted to like have like the limit attack from Kingdom Hearts 2 as the opening gag, but I just couldn't get the animations or just anything to work out. Plus, I don't know what the fuck's up with my capture card because I decided maybe I should just try and record it myself. But my capture card wasn't working right, and I'm just like, I gotta get this segment done. You know what I mean? Like, I have to stop procrastinating on this whole fucking project and just work on it and get the fucking thing done. So, I was actually talking to Coleman, like, I was actually talking to Red on the server, and he suggested why not that Monster Hunter Story kinship attack, and I'm like, oh shit, that makes the sense, because Mulan the Dragon.
Alright, just look at her stats, man. Is it any wonder she's triple S? 20 strength.
That's actually a reference to one of the original opening gags. I completely forgot about that one. The first gag, oddly enough, was going to be a bunch of oh my god, that almost turned into its own project. It basically got into the concept stage before I finally scrapped it. Basically, the original opening gag from Mulan was I am the storm that is approaching, the fucking Virgil trailer thing. And I was just gonna layer all the princess heads over fucking Virgil, Dante, V, and Nero. And then once again I realized I can't fucking superimpose on Shotcut or any of my editors, so I had to fucking try and maybe just layer the images over it. It just did not look good. It looked like shit, so it was scrapped for then.
20 dexterity, 17 constitution, 16 wisdom, 20 intelligence, and 12 charisma. Mulan, in my opinion, is the most solid combat option here. If the DM is smart, they'll stack the dungeon and hold on for dear life.
I mean that. I really do mean that. Mulan is a problem.
As a fighter, Mulan's proficiencies are single sword, bow, and artillery. Freaking artillery! The military background is obvious, and with a dragon familiar, and a very, very high deception bonus, and athletics to boot, Mulan sits as our first S character. With some of the best frontline damage and a slew of great abilities. Honestly, just pick a
top tier.
Pick Mulan
Pick a
and
top
have the
tier.
time of your life.
Tiana. Oh, God.
So...
Oddly enough, this was one of the ones I had the most fun editing, but this was the one that was the most heinous to actually put down on paper, which is kind of funny when you think about it. Like, we had a horrendous time watching Princess and the Frog, and it was actually my first time ever watching that movie, and I was like, this is the movie that no one will shut the fuck up about. This is what they're retheming Splash Mountain to. And honestly, like, I was kind of mad after watching it. It's not a bad movie by any means. It's okay, it's serviceable, but I'm like, what the fuck do I do with this character? And I'm like, there's kind of magic in there. There's like, you know, Tiana can like throw a punch, I guess, but like, there's just nothing with Tiana. I mean, as I'll just let myself talk here.
Yeah, Tiana. We have nothing. Honestly, I thought Aurora had nothing until I watched Princess and the Frog. I mean, Tiana's a froggy for most of the movie anyway.
God, I love that fucking...
What do you do with
I
that?
love the Froggy videos. They're
I'll
the
tell you
best.
what we did with that. We made her a fighter with some spell slots. Man, I don't know. Fucking... What do you even do with her?
Of course, fucking... my favorite video from Sandwiching Around... Water. And I was actually watching this video, like, while I was taking a break from, working on the, video, and I was just like, oh, I should fucking put this, like, little snippet in there, just because it's, like, it's a really good reaction image, honestly. Like, this, like, hand in water, body on fire. That's what it felt like watching Princess and the Frog. I'm way more mean to that movie than I should be.
And it kind of sucks because Tiana is cool, but stats are stats. 10 strength, 10 dexterity, 10 constitution, 15 wisdom, 20 intelligence, and 20 charisma. Yeah, her stats are kind of crap. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, Chandarius! Maybe her abilities make up for this, right? Well, you're only half right, which is just as good as being half wrong. Alright, let's look at this. She has Savvy, Advantage while unarmed, apply, bonus to looting money, and an alligator pet.
Actually, I'm not gonna make a comment there. Actually, I will, believe it or not. So, when we were making her abilities, like, once again, we had nothing. And what we have here is, like, after us, like, brainstorming for, like, almost, like, an hour and a half. Like, all the other princesses, it took maybe, like, 20 minutes, like, at most 30 minutes. Aurora, not Aurora, I'm sorry. Tiana took us an hour and a half to get done because there was just nothing we had for her.
And that kind of only just make her barely playable. Tiana is B+. It's a very...
I fought for a C so hard, but Snow would not have it. He said he conceded ground on both Cinderella and Ariel, so I had to concede ground here, and you know he was right, but like I still say that Tiana should be in the C category. But looking at her really nice abilities and the fact that, you know, like it is overshadowing the fact that, like, you know, a fighter with spell slots is like the most broken shit in the world. So that's why I'm like, you know, a B+. It's fine.
Very situational build, but at the end of the day, having a few spell slots as a fighter can come in really handy. I can just imagine a few enemies that will just be completely trivialized by this. Bring Tiana in as a ringer and you might just be surprised, just like I was.
Dyer's colors. Oh, my second favorite opening gag in the entire fucking video was this right here. Flint's spine and ribs being broken on impact from being thrown into the closet. This is, ironically enough, this was one of the first opening gags I did. Like, I basically put into, like, you know, I was doing the scripts, and I'm like, every princess kind of needs an opener as I'm writing the script. And I thought, wouldn't it be funny if, like, you know, we saw what happened to Flynn's body when, like, Rapunzel was trying to get him in the closet, and I'm like, hang on a second. And then that's sort of, like, what happened next was just me just, like, figuring out opening gags for all the princesses and just scrapping a bunch of them. There are so many scrapped opening gags for every princess that I want to do, but they either just didn't land properly, I edited them, and they just didn't look good, or, you know, once again, you can't superimpose, and I was, like, way too ambitious. And a lot of them are deleted now, which I kind of regret, but I do still have, like, I think 2 that I haven't deleted yet, just because they make me laugh.
Rapunzel can be played either as a paladin or a cleric, but her killer app is, well, something rather odd. I don't really know how to say this, but yeah, 70 feet of goddamn hair! But, get past the whole hair situation, Rapunzel's a very well-rounded build. With 19 strength, 20 dexterity,
Such good stats, man.
20
God
wisdom,
damn.
16 intelligence, and 20 charisma. She is really built for anything, except the hair, man. We gotta talk about the hair. There are so many uses for what is essentially...
If I had to pick one of these princesses to play in a one-shot or a full campaign, like, oddly enough, I would pick Rapunzel, like, hands down, like, no problem. Because improvised weaponry is super broken, but also, like, it's just 70 feet of hair just is so useful, especially in a D&D setting.
70 feet of rope or wool, but you do realize that stealth is no longer an option. I mean, what the hell do you do if you're hiding in a bush? Oh, where'd they go? Oh, hey, did you check that bush with the 70 feet of fucking hair sticking out of it?
One of my favorite jokes in the entire fucking thing. Editing this was so fun. I was laughing while the editor was open, just because it's just Skyrim, but there's Dark Souls. There's Dark Souls like Black Knights here. Like, I tried to get, like, Skyrim guards, but I couldn't find a PNG I liked the look of that didn't like. Well, a lot of the PNGs for the Whiterun guards, believe it or not, they don't have their legs for some weird reason. And I thought, wouldn't it be funny if I just put them in there? But I'm like, no, I want to, like, mix the worlds and make it make less sense.
I mean, okay, look. You get a creative DM, you're screwed. But if you are a creative player, the campaign is your playground. And it gets even more fun with your abilities. With max out to hit with improvised weaponry, advantage on all healing abilities and healing checks, Pascal, of course you need your chameleon companion, Footloose, Hair Whip, and Radiant Hair
Of
energy,
course, this
demons
joke.
will be running scared.
This is actually a request by Boom on our server. He told me to put Doom Guy in my next video with no context, and I'm like, okay. And I just immediately thought of this image because this was my next video, and I was gonna just sneak, like, a singular frame of Doom Guy in one of the princesses just to tell him, oh, it's there. But this just worked out way better.
I give Rapunzel a B+ to S-.
Funny thing about the score, this was like a moonlight. This is like the moonlight hour change here. Like, Rapunzel was originally meant to just be S+, or I'm sorry, S-, but like something in me told me that, you know, there are moments when this character is not going to be the S that she's meant to be, because like I said, like, you get a creative DM that knows how to fuck you over and you're just screwed for the entire campaign. But like, if you're more creative than he is, or they are, I should say, then it's your playground.
She is a solid character, and her abilities make her really fun, but the problem is the 70 feet of hair. Play this by ear, and go by who the DM is. If they're a cool S, if they are that kind of DM, play by your boundaries, because you know how that kind of DM is. Yeah, you know who you are. Get your raw to suck out
Oh
of your
boy,
ass and
here we
let people
go.
have some fun for once.
So, funny thing about that little comment I made at the end, that rant was originally 5 minutes long. I'm not joking. I go off on a fucking tirade, like talking about bad DMs and just shit that's happened to me over the years. And I actually call out a lot of people by name. And I'm like, this is too personal. I gotta cut this. One of the other opening gags, I just feel like I could have done better. There were two other gags I wanted with this. Like, one was going to be Atreus shooting Kratos. That's sort of like, but then we had the gag in the middle of it with boy shoot the arrow. So I thought no. Then I had the other one where Hawkeye shoots the arrow at Loki and he catches it and explodes. But I'm like, not really. And then I just thought, oh, the 300 scene where they shoot all the fucking arrows. That's a good one. And yes, the continuation of some lore, some deep like lore on my fucking D&D life, a lone goblin, which is it was this basically a long time ago in an IRL campaign I was part of, not running actually. Our DM, she was great, and she had this fucking joke she would always have where she said, we're out of the blue, like, we're approached by a lone goblin, or like you find this lone goblin, and I don't know what it was about us, but I guess we're a bunch of murderous bastards, because we would always overkill this fucking goblin as hard as we could. Like, we blew the poor fucker up, we fucking threw him off a cliff once, meat shield for a dragon. It was just this like lineup of like how many times can we horrendously like destroy these fucking lone goblins.
Merida is ranged cavalry and has some solid abilities and mods to back it up, but that's kind of it. Despite Merida possessing some great skills and mods, she's just sort of vanilla. And what I mean by that is that just about any person with good enough game knowledge of how to level a character and how the game works would be able to make Merida.
Not much to say
And
about
puts me in a
Merida,
strange position
honestly.
of not having much to say about the character. But when all is said and done, arrow go whoosh. Boy. 17.
Originally that scene was gonna have once again I can't superimpose, but originally Merida's head was supposed to be layered over Atreus and Cinderella's head was gonna be over Kratos, and I was like, you know what, I'll manually do it frame by frame because I want this joke in there. But when I had the joke done, it just looked really creepy because Kratos just had Cinderella's head on. So I'm like, you know what, I'm not doing this joke.
15 strength, 20 dexterity, 15 constitution, 12 wisdom, 14 intelligence, and 9 charisma. Add danger sense, bonus to hit with bows on and off the Shire Warhorse. Sentry and deadly shot, I give her a B. Solid. She is just a cavalry character, but she's a very, very powerful cavalry character. If someone else took Mulan, I'd take Merida. Oh, and
That's in the comment sense, though. I would pick Rapunzel hands down, but like, you know, like I was just saying that from like the perspective of somebody who's more combat oriented.
ask your DM about having a bear companion.
It ends here.
Oh god, this one. So this opening gag was originally supposed to be Sora taking the boat up and slamming it in onto one of the other pirate ships, and then was gonna smash cut to fucking I forgot what I was gonna smash cut to, but it just didn't work. So then I thought, you know what, why not just get a video of a ship crashing into a rogue wave, and there's a fucking dragon turtle under the ocean. And I feel like it could have done this like gag better, but it works.
Here we go.
Another little mistake there. I'd actually layered the turtle's head over the text when I meant to layer it under it. It's just a funny little gag there. Or not so much a gag, but just a little like mistake.
One is a swashbuckler, the likes of Captain Jack Sparrow or Edward Kenway, and that's kind of all she's got. Well, that
God,
in fact,
Moana's
that water's
underpowered.
just a plaything, but other than that, the only other skill she has is Mariner. She's not really that amazing. Okay, to be perfectly honest, having what is essentially a max level water weird on you at all times and ready to fight is actually pretty lit, but the problem is you kind of need a water source for that first. Unless the DM is really creative, you're not going to find a lot of water inside of a dungeon.
Biggest problem with Moana, actually, like, Moana has like the ability to kind of control water. Her ocean's her friend. Like, especially at the end of the movie, the ocean just like obeys her command. And I was just thinking to myself, like, what use is Moana gonna be when you're in a dungeon? You know what I mean? It's not like there's a lot of dungeons that are gonna have water in them or enough to like be useful. I mean, if you have a decanter of endless water, that's fucking something. But those are magical items that are hard to get. Honestly, I think out of all the princesses here, I would pick Moana last. Honestly, like, there's not much she has.
15 strength, 20 dexterity, 20 constitution, 20 wisdom, 16 intelligence, and 16 charisma. Simple, to the point, and easy to pick up. I'd give Moana a B-. Swashbuckler is a grand class, and her stats are great, but she's missing a lot of good abilities. And if there's no water nearby, well, there goes a big part of your kit. And also, if you're not going to be on the ocean, what's the point of being a freaking mariner?
Out of your friends, which are you? Truck freak. The fire.
Rhea is
Probably my favorite opening gag out of all of them. Fucking, hang on a second, let me just go back here. So, Boone is the truck freak because he ran the boat. Tong as that crazy fucking barbarian, so he'd be crazy ass. And this was one of my favorite edits out of the entire fucking video. Is just, god damn it. Her face is so fucking, it fits so fucking perfect for the death claw that I'm just like, you know, when I was making this, I'm like, oh my god, this is perfect. It's just so fucking funny to me.
Big combat-oriented princess, and while she shows impressive feats of strength and dexterity, she fails in many non-combat situations. And when it comes to her killer app, she really excels at, oh yeah, is it time to talk about dragons? No! You have to eat your dinner before you get dessert.
So, basically this whole joke came down to me just being super fucking hungry. Like, it was late at night. I had not eaten, like, I had eaten something very small for lunch that day. I was just sitting down at my computer, just being super hungry, and just, like, thinking, like, what do I want to eat right now? And I'd be like, I would literally murder someone for some ribs, like, and a corn muffin right now. So I just Googled ribs and corn muffin, I got that picture, and I'm like, you know what, fucking cookies and cream ice cream, that'd be the best too. And that was just sort of like, oddly enough, after I fucking made this video, I went to Famous Dave's and I stopped by Dairy Queen. But Dairy Queen wasn't open late, so I just picked up a tub somewhere. God damn it. I think I got the tub from a gas station. That was a while ago now.
So, let's talk class and stats. You know what's up at this point. Rhea is a way of the four elements Kinsei monk, and she fucking owns it.
I know I'm pausing a lot, but this is a director's commentary. When I came to Snow, I'm like, dude, we need to do a thing for Rhea. She's a Disney princess. And he's like, oh shit, is she? And I'm like, yeah, what would her class be? And I'm talking like not even a minute. Snow had the fucking class and the type and like what her thing should be, like, in a minute. I was fucking baffled with how fast this dude works.
With great rounded out stats to complement it, and with the help of a certain companion, you can... No! Stats first. 18...
One of my favorite, like, overlaid gags in any of the things is just me about to talk about the dragon, and I just immediately pull it away. Like, I had so much fun doing, like, those smash cuts. It's just like, hey, look at the dragon, look at it. Nope, no dragon.
Strength, 20 dexterity, 17 constitution, 19 intelligence, 20 wisdom, and 14 charisma. She is another great frontliner, especially with that admittedly cool transforming weapon proficiency she has, giving Bloodborne the side eye, I see.
The amygdala arm, literally my favorite weapon out of Bloodborne. I just think it's like the most... Reason it's my favorite, it's not mechanically my favorite. It's my favorite weapon because it just looks cool. But I love it to an extent that's unhealthy because I just think it's the most ridiculous fucking weapon idea I've ever heard in my life. Oh, here's the skeleton of an old one. Let's just rip its arm off and use it because there's still, like, ambient amounts of life in there, so we can swing it around and make the arm swing around, kind of, as if it's still alive. And it's so creepy, but I love it. And it's just like, what's the transformation? It's just a big-ass hammer. Oh, God, amygdala arms, like, it's just my favorite. Like, I prefer to have it on all my builds, but I'm actually doing a Bloodborne run right now that's entirely dexterity based and blood tinged based, and it is the weirdest type of Bloodborne I've ever played ever, because whenever I play a game, I usually like the strength builds and the tank builds, because I prefer not to die in a video game. Like, if there's a tank build in any video game ever, that's just the build I gravitate towards, because I don't know why, but just like, you know, like failing a mission or dying in a video game, when it's something that I can just, like, press a button and just not to die. It's better for me, honestly.
Now is it time to talk about... No! It's ability time. With Taunting Aura, Uncanny Dodge, Danger Sense, Observant, Tough, and, Armadillo, Groundhog, Bug, Thing... Seriously, what the hell is this thing?
I swear, his concept art looks way better than how he looks in the fucking movie.
And now, it's finally time to talk about the big, bad, final score. With great abilities,
One of my favorite little jokes there.
A really cool weapon type. Rhea is S. Really the only other S in the lineup. Perfect for the front line and any party. Okay, finally. Let's talk dragons. Sisu is a water element lung dragon, but there's a catch. There's always a catch.
There always is.
GM has full control over what kind of dragon it is and how you go about getting it.
This actually wasn't an easy decision to make. I thought about just making a character sheet for Sisu, and then I realized, like, you know, other people would want to gravitate towards other types of dragons. And then I'm like, you know what? Like, I'll just leave the entirety of this up to the GM, because a dragon companion isn't anything to sneeze at, so, you know, I'll leave it into the hands of the hopefully capable DMs out there in the world to know, like, how they need to, like, mediate their own game.
That's right, you don't just get a dragon. There are so many types of dragons out there and too many rules to think about, so it's up to the DM whether or not you start out with one, or obtain it from a personal quest, character quest, or whatever have you. The DM will have final say on this one. And remember to always respect the DM's ruling. It's just courtesy. Unless they're an asshole, in which case find another group.
Of course.
And that's the whole list. And the tier list looks something like this.
Thank you, tier list maker.
Yeah, pretty good. And that is about it. That's all the princesses. Thank
God.
you so very much.
Mayfly's such a good song
and
that
I will
Avery
see you
Blue
all
did.
on the next adventure when
It's
we-
criminal he doesn't have more people
I don't
viewing his
really know.
videos.
Do I look like a guy with a plan? I'm just doing this for fun, honestly.
Some sharp-eyed viewers that have been long-time viewers will actually notice that this is actually the old setup, and I'm actually editing the last episode of the Bioshock playthrough. That's the final Bioshock episode right there, and this is the same outro from the end of that series. It just worked so well that I just thought I might as well keep it, because, like, why fix what isn't broken? And you can actually tell just how old it is, because my bassinet still has that dumb little cross sticker that I put in between the eyes because I thought it might look cool. God, I took that off ages ago. God, good times, good times. So that's basically like the video. I had a lot of fun making this video. I had a lot of fun, working with Snow. I had a lot of fun putting it all together, coming up with opening gags. If I had to say my favorite opening gag out of all of them, probably Rhea's or Rapunzel's were like one of my favorites. Favorite princess to play as, I would definitely go as Rapunzel any day of the week. I'd work with the hair instead of against it. And worst experience out of all this was watching Princess and the Frog. God, I'm so fucking mean to that movie. But yeah, I'm excited to work on the rest of the Disney heroes and Disney villains. We have the Disney villains as BBGs. That's gonna be a really fun one. And then we have the Disney heroes, of course. Can't wait to do Stitch as the fucking gremlin he is. But yeah, as always, you like this, subscribe, leave a like. I don't know, I'm not good with YouTube outros. I just want the videos to keep on going because they're fun. Alright, everyone, and as always, I'll see you on the next adventure.